I'll say that. I mean, Lamar Jackson, to me, he's been a problem. He's been looking better as a passer. He's been progressing as a passer the way I want to see it. He's in the pocket, making plays. I mean, 9 of his completions were to Zay Flowers. I mean, those two guys are...
I have to ask you, talking about the Ravens, do you think Lamar Jackson should have won MVP last year?
I don't.
I don't either. And I think he's playing better this
No,
year.
he is.
Maybe arguably the best in his career. Obviously, probably second best year because his 2017 MVP season was pretty great. But the injuries last year with Andrews and Bateman, now you get those guys back. And then the addition of Derrick Henry is just... It puts so much into this offense because the Ravens have been a run-first team. Gus Edwards had double-digit touchdowns last year. So you bring in a guy like Henry, who was expected to get the work. That opens up a lot for Lamar Jackson because now you got to stop an absolute freight train in the backfield, and then he fakes that, and then he can either fake it, the linebackers bite, and then he's got Flowers, Bateman the run game with Henry opens up so much for that offense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And that's why Lamar is looking so much better because he can run it, he can throw it, and
because the run opens up the pass, and
100%.
everybody knows that. And Derrick Henry, he's been on an historic pace. I mean, he's got 20 100-yard games with 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's behind Emmitt Smith with 21, Jim Brown, and a couple other guys. So he's in elite company. I mean, he's definitely. I think he's creeping up in like one of the best running backs ever conversation. I mean, I would probably say that.
When I look at Derrick Henry right now, last year on the Titans, I was like, he looked a little slow. He looked like he lost a step. I'm not saying he wasn't good. He was pretty great. But, that short running back career, you're like, okay, does Henry start to slow down on the Ravens? That was my question. And then he goes to the Ravens, and he looked like he got better.
Yeah, he looks like he's faster. He looks like he's back to normal, and he's mowing people over, which... Thank you, Derrick Henry. You've been absolutely amazing on my fantasy team this season. You've been killing it.
But, if this guy continues to have, 22-mile-per-hour runs, and he's just... I don't understand how to explain it, but, he's approaching the 30-year-old mark, and that is not where a running back succeeds normally. You don't have that longevity like Frank Gore was a guy who was always on the field.
Right.
Adrian Peterson, as much as he wanted to play until he was, 40... He was never really any great after he left the Vikings. So you look at Derrick Henry, if he continues the 1,000-yard seasons up, next 3-4 years on the Ravens.
He's in the conversation.
I think there's no doubt he definitely is the guy. I think right now for me, my GOAT is AP just because of how great his prime was. But when you talk about the longevity of running backs, I think Frank Gore is probably top 6, top 5 area. I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I think Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back.
love Emmitt.
I mean, all-time leading rusher, all-time rushing touchdown leader. I mean, I'll take that.
Emmitt's great. His career was so long as well with the Cowboys and the great offensive line. But yeah, Emmitt's up there. You have so many great running backs, but I think Henry could top them all just because 1,000-yard after 1,000-yard after 1,000-yard after 1,000-yard. That's basically he might catch Emmitt's record, which I never thought was possible, but that could be a possibility. This guy continues to. These numbers are crazy.
He's the first player since 2005, LaDainian Tomlinson, to score a rushing touchdown in each of his first 6 games.
Incredible.
That's nuts. You were talking about LaDainian here, who's also in the conversation as well, but. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Who has a better chance to win MVP this year? Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson?
I love the way Lamar's playing, but I feel like the MVP of that team is Henry right now. And I don't want to discount Lamar because he's playing unreal, but Henry has taken that team over on offense. And I think it's tough for me to say that a quarterback isn't going to win the MVP because obviously it's a quarterback-driven award. But the way Jay Daniels is playing, I'm surprised Sam Darnold's not a candidate. Right now, I'm really irritated that Patrick Mahomes is getting all these favorites. And yes, the Chiefs are...
And he's not playing that well.
Right. The Chiefs are, 5-0 on the bye?
I mean, they're still undefeated, but,
right.
But they haven't been lighting it up. But the reason for that is because they haven't been playing behind. When you play behind, you got to throw the ball more. And when you are playing ahead... You get to run the football, establish the run game.
I know this is off topic, but Patrick Mahomes is arguably playing the worst in his career right now. I would say arguably. But you can't put him as the MVP conversation when he's playing just as good as any other quarterback. I think Joe Burrow's playing better than him. Granted, he's not 5-0, but that 5-0 doesn't mean you're the MVP of your team just because you're a quarterback. Like, I think Sam Darnold's playing 10 times better just in that offense with Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell's he's an offensive genius. Yeah, there's still a lot going on with the year. I feel like this season has been very strange, but
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my